The concept of heaven is one that has captivated human imagination for centuries, transcending cultures, religions, and geographical boundaries. It's a notion that resonates deeply within us, evoking feelings of hope, comfort, and longing. For many, the idea of an afterlife is a source of solace, a promise of eternal peace and happiness that awaits us after we leave this mortal coil. But have you ever stopped to consider, do people of different faiths, specifically Muslims and Christians, go to the same heaven? This is a question that has sparked intense debate, curiosity, and sometimes controversy. As we delve into this complex and sensitive topic, it's essential to approach it with respect, empathy, and an open mind. We must acknowledge that both Islam and Christianity are two of the world's largest and most influential religions, with a combined following of over 3.5 billion people. Both faiths have a rich history, theology, and traditions that have shaped the lives of millions, and their concepts of heaven are deeply rooted in their respective scriptures and doctrines. So, let's embark on a journey to explore the similarities and differences between the Christian and Islamic perspectives on heaven, and examine whether they ultimately lead to the same destination. For Christians, heaven is often described as a place of eternal joy, love, and reunion with God and loved ones who have passed away. It's a realm where the faithful will experience the presence of God, free from suffering, pain, and sin. The Bible describes heaven as a place of breathtaking beauty, with streets of gold, gates of pearl, and a radiant city that shines like the sun. It's a place where believers will receive their reward for their faithfulness, and where they will worship and praise God for eternity. But what about Muslims? Do they share a similar vision of heaven, or do they have a distinct understanding of the afterlife? In Islam, the concept of heaven is known as Jannah, a paradise that is promised to those who live a righteous life, according to the teachings of the Quran and the Hadith. Jannah is described as a place of unimaginable beauty, with lush gardens, sparkling rivers, and majestic palaces. It's a realm where the faithful will be rewarded with eternal bliss, free from fear, anxiety, and sorrow. But what's fascinating is that Muslims believe that Jannah is not just a spiritual realm, but a physical one as well. They believe that the soul will be reunited with the body, and that the faithful will enjoy a life of luxury and happiness, with all their needs and desires fulfilled. As we explore the similarities and differences between the Christian and Islamic concepts of heaven, we begin to notice some striking parallels. Both faiths believe in a heaven that is a place of eternal happiness, where the faithful will be rewarded for their righteousness. Both believe in a heaven that is a realm of breathtaking beauty, where the presence of God is palpable. And both believe in a heaven that is a place of reunion, where loved ones will be reunited, and where the faithful will worship and praise God for eternity. But despite these similarities, there are also some significant differences. Christians believe that salvation is through faith in Jesus Christ alone, while Muslims believe that salvation is through submission to the will of Allah and following the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad. As we navigate the complexities of these two faiths, we begin to realize that the question of whether Muslims and Christians go to the same heaven is not a simple one. It's a question that requires a deep understanding of the theological, historical, and cultural contexts of both faiths. It's a question that requires empathy, respect, and an open mind, as we seek to understand the perspectives and beliefs of others. And it's a question that ultimately may not have a definitive answer. But what's important is not the destination, but the journey. What's important is not whether we end up in the same heaven, but whether we live a life of love, compassion, and righteousness, according to the teachings of our respective faiths. As we continue on this journey, we'll explore the scriptural basis for the Christian and Islamic concepts of heaven and examine the historical and cultural contexts that have shaped these beliefs. We'll talk to scholars, theologians, and everyday people who will share their insights and perspectives on this complex and fascinating topic. And we'll delve into the similarities and differences between the two faiths, seeking to understand the nuances and complexities of their respective theologies. So, join me on this journey as we explore the question of whether Muslims and Christians go to the same heaven. It's a journey that promises to be thought-provoking, enlightening, and perhaps even surprising. And who knows, we may just discover that the truth is more complex and more beautiful than we ever could have imagined. The concept of heaven is a mysterious and intriguing one, and it's something that has captivated human imagination for centuries. It's a notion that has inspired countless works of art, literature, and music, and it's a question that has puzzled scholars and theologians for centuries. As we explore the Christian and Islamic concepts of heaven, we begin to realize that the question of whether Muslims and Christians go to the same heaven is not just a theological or philosophical one, but a deeply personal and existential one. It's a question that speaks to our deepest hopes and fears, our highest aspirations, and our darkest doubts. And it's a question that ultimately may not have a definitive answer, but one that invites us to reflect on our own beliefs, values, and understanding of the world. As we navigate the complexities of this topic, we must be mindful of the fact that both Christianity and Islam are diverse and multifaceted faiths, with a wide range of interpretations and traditions. We must be respectful of the different perspectives and beliefs that exist within each faith, and we must avoid reducing the question of whether Muslims and Christians go to the same heaven to simplistic or superficial answers. Instead, we must approach this question with nuance, sensitivity, and an open mind, seeking to understand the complexities and subtleties of each faith. And we must be willing to listen to and learn from each other as we seek to deepen our understanding of the world and our place within it. The journey ahead promises to be a fascinating and thought-provoking one, as we explore the Christian and Islamic concepts of heaven and examine the question of whether Muslims and Christians go to the same heaven. It's a journey that will take us to the heart of two of the world's largest and most influential religions, and it's a journey that will challenge our assumptions and broaden our understanding of the world. So, let's embark on this journey with an open mind, a willing heart, and a deep sense of curiosity as we seek to explore the mysteries of heaven and the complexities of the human experience. As we delve deeper into the question of whether Muslims and Christians go to the same heaven, we find ourselves navigating a complex landscape of theological traditions, scriptural interpretations, and deeply held convictions. It's a terrain that requires us to move beyond the familiar contours of our own faith and to engage with the perspectives of others with empathy, respect, and a willingness to learn. For many Christians, the idea of heaven is inextricably linked to the person of Jesus Christ and the belief that salvation is available only through faith in him. This conviction is rooted in passages such as John 14 verse 6, where Jesus declares, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." For Christians, this verse is often seen as a clear affirmation of Jesus' unique role as the sole mediator between God and humanity and the only path to eternal salvation. However, for Muslims, the concept of heaven is also deeply intertwined with the idea of submission to the will of God and the belief that salvation is available to all who surrender to God's mercy and guidance. In the Quran, Muslims read of a heaven that is described as a realm of exquisite beauty and profound joy, where the righteous will dwell in the presence of God and experience the fullness of his love and bliss. For Muslims, the path to heaven is not limited to a single faith tradition, but is rather a universal invitation to all humanity to turn to God and to live a life of righteousness, compassion, and service to others. As we explore these different perspectives on heaven, we begin to see that the question of whether Muslims and Christians go to the same heaven is not simply a matter of theology, but also a deeply human question that speaks to our longing for connection, our desire for transcendence, and our hope for a future that is more beautiful, more just, and more loving than the present. One of the most fascinating aspects of this journey is the discovery of the many points of convergence between the Islamic and Christian traditions, where we find shared values, common aspirations, and a deep sense of solidarity. In the Quran, for example, we read of the importance of loving one's neighbor, of caring for the poor, and of standing up for justice, values that are also deeply ingrained in the Christian tradition. Similarly, in the Bible, we find stories of prophets and saints who are also revered in the Islamic tradition and who embody the qualities of compassion, wisdom, and courage that are so deeply admired in both faiths. As we explore these points of convergence, we begin to see that the question of whether Muslims and Christians go to the same heaven is not a zero-sum game, where one faith is pitted against another, but rather a shared quest for meaning, for purpose, and for a deeper understanding of the human condition. And yet, even as we celebrate these points of convergence, we must also acknowledge the very real differences that exist between the Islamic and Christian traditions, differences that are rooted in distinct scriptural interpretations, theological emphases, and historical experiences. For Christians, the doctrine of the Trinity, the concept of original sin, and the belief in the divinity of Jesus Christ are all central to their faith and are seen as essential to their understanding of God and the world. For Muslims, on the other hand, the unity of God, the prophetic tradition, and the importance of submission to God's will are all fundamental to their faith and are seen as the core of their spiritual practice. As we navigate these differences, we must do so with sensitivity, with respect, and with a deep awareness of the complexities and nuances of each tradition. As we journey deeper into the mystery of heaven, we find ourselves confronted with the ultimate question of God's nature and God's character. Is God a God of love, who desires the salvation of all people, regardless of their faith tradition, or is God a God of judgment, who condemns those who do not affirm a particular creed or doctrine? This is a question that has puzzled theologians and spiritual seekers for centuries, and one that continues to inspire and to challenge us today. For some, the answer to this question is clear and is rooted in a particular scriptural tradition or theological perspective. For others, the answer is more nuanced and is shaped by a range of factors, including personal experience, cultural context, and spiritual practice. As we grapple with this question, we must do so with humility, with openness, and with a deep sense of reverence for the mystery of God and the complexity of the human experience. As we continue on this journey, we find ourselves drawn into a world of breathtaking beauty and profound wonder, a world that is filled with the music of the spheres, the dance of the stars, and the song of the angels. It is a world that is both familiar and strange, a world that is rooted in our deepest longings and our highest aspirations. And yet, even as we are drawn into this world, we must also acknowledge the very real challenges and complexities that exist in our own world, challenges that include poverty, injustice, and violence, complexities that include diversity, difference, and disagreement. As we navigate these challenges and complexities, we must do so with courage, with compassion, and with a deep commitment to the values of love, justice, and mercy that are at the heart of both the Islamic and Christian traditions. In the end, the question of whether Muslims and Christians go to the same heaven is not a question that can be answered with a simple yes or no, but rather a question that invites us to embark on a journey of discovery, of exploration, and of transformation. It is a journey that requires us to move beyond the boundaries of our own faith and to engage with the perspectives of others, with empathy, respect, and a willingness to learn. As we embark on this journey, we must do so with an open mind, a willing heart, and a deep sense of curiosity, and we must be prepared to challenge our assumptions and to broaden our understanding of the world. For it is only by embracing this journey, with all its complexities and challenges, that we can hope to find the answers that we seek and to discover the truth that lies at the heart of the human experience. As we delve deeper into the mysteries of faith and the afterlife, we begin to realize that the questions we ask are not unique to our time, but have been pondered by generations of seekers and scholars. The quest for understanding the nature of heaven and who will inhabit it has been a long-standing conundrum, with various interpretations and perspectives emerging across cultures and traditions. And yet, despite the diversity of viewpoints, there lies a common thread that weaves through the fabric of human experience, the yearning for transcendence and the hope of reuniting with a higher power. In the context of our exploration, we have examined the theological underpinnings of Islam and Christianity, two of the world's major faith traditions, in an attempt to discern whether their adherents will share a common destination in the afterlife. We have navigated the complexities of Scripture and the nuances of interpretation, seeking to uncover the underlying principles that guide the understanding of heaven in each tradition. And what we have discovered is that, despite the differences in doctrine and practice, there exists a profound convergence in the values and aspirations that animate the spiritual journeys of Muslims and Christians. At the heart of both Islam and Christianity lies a deep-seated conviction in the unity and sovereignty of God, and the ultimate accountability of human beings to a higher authority. Both traditions affirm the existence of a realm beyond the mundane, a realm that is characterized by divine presence, and in which the faithful will experience the realization of their deepest longings and aspirations. Whether we speak of the Islamic concept of Jannah or the Christian notion of heaven, we are referring to a state of being that transcends the limits of the material world, and in which the human spirit is elevated to a plane of unparalleled joy and fulfillment. Now, as we reflect on the implications of our inquiry, we are compelled to consider the significance of our findings for the way we live our lives and the manner in which we engage with others. If, as our exploration suggests, Muslims and Christians are bound by a shared aspiration for a heavenly realm, then what does this mean for our relationships with one another and for the way we navigate our differences? Can we not, on the basis of this shared vision, find common ground and work together to build bridges of understanding and cooperation? The answer, we believe, lies in the affirmative. By recognizing the profound convergence that exists between our traditions, we can begin to dismantle the barriers that have long divided us, and instead, embark on a path of mutual discovery and enrichment. We can learn from one another's strengths and weaknesses, and in the process, gain a deeper appreciation for the richness and diversity of human experience. And as we walk this path, we will find that our journey is not merely one of intellectual exploration, but of spiritual transformation, as we open ourselves to the possibility of growth and renewal. In the final analysis, our exploration of the question, whether Muslims and Christians go to the same heaven, has led us to a profound realization that the truth we seek is not a static or binary concept, but a dynamic and multifaceted reality that enfolds us all. It is a truth that beckons us to transcend our narrow particularities and to embrace the universal values of compassion, justice, and love that lie at the heart of every great faith tradition. And it is a truth that reminds us, in the words of the great Sufi poet, Rumi, that the wound is the place where the light enters you, that our differences and our uncertainties are not obstacles to be overcome, but opportunities for growth and illumination. As we bring our journey to a close, we invite you to reflect on the insights and perspectives that we have shared and to consider the ways in which they may inform and enrich your own spiritual path. We encourage you to engage in respectful and open-minded dialogue with others and to seek out opportunities for interfaith encounter and cooperation. And we remind you, above all, that the quest for understanding and the pursuit of truth is a lifelong journey, one that requires patience, humility, and a willingness to challenge our assumptions and to broaden our understanding of the world. In the end, it is not the destination that matters, but the journey itself, the journey of discovery, of growth, and of transformation. And it is our hope that through this video, we have inspired you to embark on this journey with an open heart and an open mind, and to discover, for yourself, the profound wisdom and beauty that lies at the heart of the human experience. May your path be illuminated by the light of knowledge, and may your spirit be nourished by the love and compassion that unites us all. And may we, together, create a world that is more just, more peaceful, and more reflective of the values and principles that we hold dear.